Now imagine being on my end and receiving this news in jail. It was otherworldly, yes. So congratulations, and I'm sorry that happened to you.
Thanks. Oh no, wild time. No, it's really fun getting to like tell your mom that you've been joked about on Saturday Night Live is really incredible. There's a Craig joke in the next episode, and I thought that was, like I won. Like there's no way that I lost that. Like I feel good about how that turned out. And like I heard his show got better, so like I'm happy for him. He don't have a nomination for the Pulitzer though, Plus.
I kind of feel the same way about Lil Dicky, where
who is like just like it seems like that whole 5-year period of reviling him has been forgotten.
Yeah.
Am I tripping? He's acceptable now and it's like weird to me.
I mean, how much of it was just that LeBron tweeted that he liked his show?
That can work wonders. Powerful in our abilities.
Oh my God, yes. I can't remember if he posted a video of himself listening to Freddie Gibbs before or after the Grammy nomination, but I feel like that somehow got Gibbs the nomination.
You think LeBron has that kind of power?
Yep.
And our guest today is the illustrious Pulitzer-nominated writer, critic, and sommelier himself, Craig S. Jenkins.
What's up? That's still insane to me. Like, so when I'm introduced that way, it's like I freak out. Still, like it's a daunting thing to have happen. It's very crazy to have it come up in casual conversation. Like, because then what do you do afterward? You have to be the coolest person in the room. I'd be up for the challenge sometimes, but like quite standoffish often.
I mean, if you have like a pair of sunglasses that you can keep like in your shirt pocket whenever they mention the Pulitzer nomination, just slide them on. Then you're the coolest person in the room.
Do people still like ask you to listen to their music, knowing that you're a professional like critic? Like, did they really
that makes
want
people
that?
more likely to? I feel like all y'all know that makes people more likely to bring that stuff up with you. Like, I was getting a card from a guy at the door the other night. Yeah, like, absolutely.
Do you get like a higher caliber of like? Do you get like struggle ambient musicians now because you've got the P?
I get everything. I don't know. Like my inbox is really weird, but yeah, I don't know if there's. Who could say? I don't. I guess I'm not like as 10 toes down in that inbox anymore. Like I'm aware of everything that comes in, but like I'm not in it like necessarily.
Yeah,
there's stuff I'm interested in, and there's only so much that I can do in like a month. So like I stay abreast of a lot of things, but like why would I use word choice? But like devoted to the things that I can get done.
How many unopened emails do you have?
I can't even give a number. There's 6 of them. 6 digits.
Oh wow!
What?
No, because okay, like, can you imagine how
you pay like $20 a month for like Google Drive, don't you?
No, I really do. Yes. No, honestly, like a page can fill in 10 minutes in my inbox. So like it's not.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
You should just make a new email. Just burn that one down. Change your name, but only for email purposes.
They're starting to get into like the personal inbox too. Like I'm starting to just filter in casually, and I'm like now having to do the weird like, all right, who do I like send the unsubscribe to that's not going to take it personally? Like, there's people that can CC me anywhere, and there's people who like I don't need them in that inbox.
Yeah,
you have to have a place of peace.
Yes. Trey recently declared victory and left his email address and then created a new one for that purpose.
How does that work? Like,
oh, I just have one that like is connected to the social media app. So every time they send me an update or some shit, just goes to that one, and then I have the one I actually like answer people from.
Do you want to say it on the pod?
No,
We'll tweet it out later.
Okay, good.
that's the entire point of me having this email is that nobody can just send me whatever. And it's a good email address too, but
What does it rhyme with?
other words.
Okay, so it rhymes with the words other words.
It doesn't.
Mother
It's
birds.
Forest swords.
Oh my god.
That's how Forest
You
is.
you took the Forest Swords at Gmail address from Rusty himself. Or no, that's Glass Swords. Shit.
Oh,
Forest
I was gonna
Swords was
say,
like
I
the-
ran
yeah.
that Aaliyah cover into the ground. Did they get?
Do you remember like How to Dress Well? What happened to that guy?
He started dressing bad.
The Die Workwear guy ethered him into existence. That guy's got to do something.
He was a nice guy.
I think
He came to a future party we threw one year at Pitchfork. Back when we used to do like the all future parties, yeah. And he was like, "Oh, this is cool," and he tweeted about it, and it was like, "Thanks."
Great.
Yeah, that's the whole story.
I think he was like a PhD student. I feel like he might be a professor
Oh my god.
now.
You shouldn't be allowed to make ambient music if you're like that type of person. The only people that should make ambient music are people who like are afraid to leave their bedroom.
Not true.
Yeah, like I want an agoraphobic producer only. Ryan Hemsworth didn't know what outside was like until he was 27.
It helps to be hard to find to even make that stuff.
Well,
It's a commitment.
So I mean, it's raining like fuck right now in Philly, but at 5, Laraji is playing a set at this
shouts.
festival. And yeah, I might just have to go even if the weather is horrible because like Laraji's the best. Also, Laraji defies this formulation that y'all are putting forth because he was discovered by Brian Eno when he was like busking in Washington Square Park. And like to this day, he'll just go to the park, go to different parks in like Brooklyn and Manhattan and like play his zither very peacefully for people.
It sounds like a children's entertainer. It sounds like some Paw Patrol shit.
In what way?
The name. Reggie Ice? Reggie Rock? What's his name?
Laraji.
Reggie Steele, yeah. Probably the better one. Reggie Gigas might have the best meta, but yeah.
I am a former Nintendo employee. I know way more about Pokemon than the average individual ought to.
Dude, my uncle invented Pikachu. I'm pretty sure.
How am I just finding this out? Okay, I worked at Pathmark. I worked for Nintendo. Where else? I worked at Filene's Basement. I worked at. I went a lot of like my whole 20s and half of my 30s.
And this is like all over America too, because that's your whole thing, right? Is you've been around.
Oh, well, like up the East Coast. I guess. Okay, I've worked at Newberry Comics. Now that we're getting into for a week in 2003, when 50 Cent dropped his album. I can attest to people out in the sticks bumping that music. There was like a discourse about like whether or not 50 Cent was national, and it's the stupidest thing. Like I don't really pay attention to a lot of discourse because like it's just dummies like showing up and not like talking about things that they haven't Googled about. I'm not needed in a lot of discourse. I feel like that's way off track. We were talking about Pokemon and I just got to haters. Like, so back on theme though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling that your retail experience may have turned you and like formed your hater attitude, like Bane in those caves. You know,
It actually definitely made me super into the like politics of getting people to admit that they're wrong. That is a skill that I picked up in retail, and I'll stick to it. Like
everybody else said the customer is always right. Craig said, but we'll see.
No, like, I mean, you got to convince them that they're wrong without. You got to get them to realize they're wrong without feeling like you put it upon them that they're wrong. Yeah, it was a universe of mind games. I learned under some real like magical characters, like people who could get anything to go their way in a dispute.
Like
that was my
convincing
like, weird bosses teaching me profound things about how to manipulate.
Do you mean like convincing the customer that they were wrong for not wanting to buy?
Like, within boundaries of reason. Like, when someone expects something stupid to happen and they're pushy about it and they don't want to hear anything, like you would hand the phone over to this person who would talk that person out of whatever foolish notion that they had come into, and like, but like in any situation, it was really spooky. That was I'm making it sound like more nefarious than it is. This is like about like if a guy like received a broken mattress in the mail and he's flipping out and he wants to like cancel like an order. Like, manipulate that situation into like him seeing a positive. It was really spooky to watch. Like, but you pick up a lot, and I got really interested in talking to people who don't see things my way, perhaps too much so, and Twitter was a really interesting place to play that out for as long as I was interested in that.
All right, Craig, what's the worst song you've ever heard?
The worst?
Yeah.
I just want to, for purposes of comedy, put it up there that like Ram Riddles is out there, like up there. It could be.
Man, what the fuck did we do to you, bro?
Not the official version. Not the official version. The one that
which one?
The other one. The
Sweeter
long
Man?
one. The long one. The long.
Dude, first of all, Ram Riddles is still making music. He just put out a song. He just put out a song called NFT. Okay.
When?
It's called like New Fresh Ting or something. And there's a line in it that says, "I want to go up and down like crypto. Something something. Watch me tiptoe."
Okay.
That's good. That's like a good. That's like good songwriting. Okay. Listen. Sorry, he's not fucking Fiona Apple. Okay?
Like if he was,
he's got a fan base.
I'm sure he does.
You're telling me Ram Riddles is the worst song you've ever heard in your life? That's fucking Canada-phobic,
for comedy purposes.
That's maple-phobic.
I like a lot of music by Canadians.
Don't name Carly Rae Jepsen songs now.
Oh.
When did she stop being Canadian?
Not my circuit. Joni Mitchell is one, right?
Yeah, Joni Mitchell counts.
Neil Young. Okay. Trying to think of someone born in the last 40 years.
Party Next Door.
Okay. Yeah.
He makes some bops. He's a big gamer now.
OVO Party Next Door.
That's the smart place to go if you're like have had any success in hip hop and R&B. Like, just
yeah.
Timbaland.
I mean,
really out there.
Timbaland's really online too. Yeah, some would say too online. It's weird when rappers are really online.
Often,
I remember,
like usually, the more online they are, the worse stuff we find out that they're into. Like, I don't want to know what Pete Rock thinks anymore. Blessed. I'm off that circuit now.
That the like Wu-Tang affiliated white dude Remedy. No. He was before Shkreli. He is like he's like an America First guy, which is a really weird. Yeah.
I don't really like this whole trend of rappers flipping, and it's happening a lot. Like I heard Sway Lee said he would have voted for Trump, and I was like, okay.
Oh, that's disappointing.
I figured there's going to be some awful convergences because of, the Trump trial happening in Atlanta at the same time as the thug stuff. And surely enough, like, it's getting weird. Who else?
And like, Trump's got gun as
gun or something? No, it was somebody.
Benny the Butcher?
Somebody in Griselda. Yeah. It was like Benny. Benny's a Republican or something now. It's getting...
Just like unprompted too. Why are these guys just tweeting MAGA 2024?
It's so easy to not and just like keep collecting the same money. Like, I'm confused.
I mean, Forgiato Blow has done very well for himself. My friend Forgiato Blow.
Friend of the pod.
By only doing MAGA raps. Also, Gordon Hayward still has a career despite being injured a lot. And he's like the one Republican in the NBA. So I don't know.
Listen, they need celebrities on their circuit bad. They need music. They need a whole infrastructure of popular culture because they're so anti-culture that it's like, how do you even get somebody cool on board with the agenda of like not being, demure and like nice in like,
dude,
yeah.
Have you guys not
like
watched?
Conservatism is like such like a weird paradox. Like, how do you have culture if you're like if you're so into the regulation of it? It's
because a lot of culture is just like being against other stuff like that. That's why Canada has no culture
right now. Like for like a yay, it's like, wow, people really don't want me to do this thing, so like I should probably check it out.
Yeah.
I mean, the top 2 movies of the year in my mind, My Son Hunter, and then Sound of Freedom. So I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I've never seen Hunter Biden's whole deal. I still haven't seen Hunter Biden's Hog. Which is crazy.
I don't think I've seen.
It's all right. It's not as bad as The Games was the most impressive. The Game and Chris Brown have the top 2 Hog picks.
I think I blogged for Vice about The Games. I really did.
I think we all did. I think we did like a round table about it.
Nah, this is before my time. I can tell you that much about it. Yeah.
I definitely
I was not on
the challenge to make those jokes. I stays on it. No, I just like that's love a good dick joke.
There's like a lot of music is just funny now. Like it feels like a skit. It feels like a lot of rap music's just an extended skit.
Well, sure. I mean, how it's being written lends itself, how it's being received and where it's being used.
Yes.
Comedy works well in those venues.
I mean, how do you sort of engage with something critically, like in a long form format, when it's being made for a short form video format, or that's like the method of attaining popularity for a lot of music?
I don't know. You don't try to assign too much more than what it wants to be doing or what it could be doing. Like, I think a lot of people come looking for stuff from records and feel really disappointed and like take it out on the thing, like that it's not aspiring to more like culturally or technically or whatever. Like, Is it doing the party thing effectively? Is it doing the goofy thing goofily enough? Like, are important questions. Is it evil? I don't know. Fun to think about.
Is it evil?
Yeah. There's a lot of goofy evil right now. It's a big time for that, generally, socially.
Like, what's evil music? Like ESTG?
What? Oh, no. I mean, like, like, does it have negative social implications? I was being facetious. I'm editing an article about the hip-hop.
Well, no, that AI dude who keeps uploading his shit and UMG keeps taking it down, that shit's evil.
Yeah, that guy's like Robin Hood, bro.
Conceptually, not conceptually, methodically, in terms of method, there is evil music. I don't know about effects, though. Like, who's really done a lot. You do stuff that you hear in a record to a point, like, I'll buy a certain jacket because somebody had it, but, like, I'm not receiving their morality. Like...
I mean... There is a pretty big category of music that is sort of like intentionally, explicitly evil, like Screwdriver or like Resistance Records shit. That is like openly white supremacist, and I think that is like you can pretty squarely say that is like evil, and if you listen to it, you are evil.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of the bad stuff now is just in such a sharp relief that it's like obvious, like it's really goofy.
Yeah.
I'm overusing that word. but it is just
speaking from
there's like an ineptitude to the darkness that's like really distracting to think about.
I'm speaking from personal experience, but when I heard Nicki Minaj say "real thick vagina, smuggle bricks to China,"
I think she's like chaotic neutral, probably. Like, do you ever think about like rappers' alignment, like like rappers on an alignment
all of the
scale?
time?
Like I think that she enjoys a great deal of chaos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that whole like
neutral,
you know who the
yes.
SWAT thing was like so outrageous to me. Like I could not fathom someone saying that. Like in a public forum. Like that's actionable stuff. Sometimes if it happens, then somebody can look to that post and be like,
yeah, but still, it might still. Sometimes they wait for a long time to make a move. Look at Thug, right? Like,
people who like ought to care about like the reach of their words and like what could happen as a result that they could really get sued for it. It's like that care is gone now, and it's really crazy because it's still costing people money saying stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Cardi B taking all that lady's money.
It might be the last hope of society that it costs people money to say stupid stuff still. I think about this. They're like better than like the Supreme Court that is guiding the culture right now.
I mean, but
like,
it
you could
also
really get
like
sued for millions.
But it also like it can fucking suck if like you say something like real and it's about a rich person and they have thin skin.
Oh yeah,
and then they sue you.
Sure, yeah.
Craig, has that ever happened to you?
No, because I'm careful. Like, I really try. I don't go after people further than I think that I know that I can in terms of things that I can say, like things that I can prove is what I'm interested in posting. Like, I'm not interested in making arguments loftier than like I can explain because like that's not. I mean, that's just the business. Like. Like provable arguments are important and not stuff that that's not true because it is hip-hop journalism and there's a lot of fantastical stuff that comes out now and it is a gossip-based economy full of characters who don't know what they're talking about, so I guess I could be wrong.
I mean, yeah.
Do you think sorry, go ahead, Drew.
I was just gonna say I think it was Slava who told me that DJ Vlad isn't even there when he's asking the questions. He's like on a laptop asking them. And that really upset me.
Up. That's it.
That's fun. Wait. I guess I don't think about like the logistics.
He just out of Zoom
I think
call.
that's something I know that I don't think about. Like, is enough that I should. That's really funny.
I guess it makes sense because he's so prolific and like he's usually. I mean, I guess like how do they even like shoot those things? Like, I can't remember if they have like one backdrop or it's. I was
going to say it's like
locations.
It seems like there's an aesthetic to them that always put me under the impression they're happening somewhere specific, but I guess not.
It's a studio. There's a soundboard in the background. That's it.
I'm not going to act like I watch a lot of that shit. Like to say why I'm foggy about the details.
Well, DJ Vlad's so funny because like on one hand, it's like, he'll get these like legendary figures and do like important work of like sort of archiving like their stories and stuff like that. But then he'll also be like, so how much drugs you moving these days?
Well, like on a certain level, like it is an incredible ability to be able to get people to see things that they shouldn't. Like that's actually a magical skill, and it's just how you use it.
Yeah, I mean, he also will interview just a guy who got beat up by Nicki Minaj's security team or something, like someone nobody else would ever talk to, right?
Yeah, he's important to the ego structure in a certain capacity. Everybody is in a way.
Exactly. Where do you draw the line between like exhibiting taste and hating?
I don't know. Like, I just whatever I'm not interested in. I'm just not allocating time to unless I'm being paid to, kind of. Like, so like there's not a whole lot of room in the ecology for hating anymore. My life is like writing, synthesizer, PlayStation, like, and that's it. Like, so like, there's not a lot.
Have you ever felt like there was a point or there was something that happened or came out and you were like, I actually have a duty to hate on this. I need as many people to know that this is bullshit.
Sometimes I don't know. I don't like necessarily get a thrill out of trashing something in a review. Like, I would rather allocate time to something I really like, but there's definitely stuff that like I'm only kind of interested in. That, I mean, it's got to even be boring in an interesting way for me to like have a lot to say about it. I don't like, like if it's mid, what am I doing there? Like
yeah.
And sometimes it's fun to explain why something is completely average. Sometimes it's not. Like, but it can get really boring. So like if somebody dropped like if a really famous artist dropped like 6 weed plays in a row as a rapper, like that would get really tiresome to write about. So like,
well, hang on. There was more of a life than views. Honestly, never mind.
I like more life. That was a good one. I promise that was like a gold star for him, and he should have really followed that through, like conceptually what he was doing there. But he wants
I like the Dark Lane demo tapes.
He recognizes who the audience is and what they want, and they want rude, bars about your girlfriend. So like,
yeah, he's a supervillain now.
It's like it could have been different though. I don't know.
It would have been nice to hear him like become a father and rap about that.
I would
like a real
love to actually get some of that perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then that would require like growth and maturity, and that's not what we go to Drake for.
We don't go there because, we go to Drake. We go for what's being served.
Exactly. I didn't plan on listening to like a fucking TED Talk every time a Jay-Z song came on, but that's where we are now.
Yeah, I mean, there's some artists where like
people still love that stuff too. Like they need a motivational figure.
He's like Gary Vee.
Yes.
No, because wasn't he trying to get Bitcoin in the hood? Like he really.
His was different. What Spike Lee was doing was nefarious. Jay-Z like tried to do programs. That's a little better than just being like, "Give me your money."
I'm not saying like he's a scammer. I'm just saying people need motivational figures like that to talk them.
My hot take is Jay-Z's always trying his best. That's really my hot take.
What is he trying though? Like
his best.
Okay, so like I just keep thinking about how that Super Bowl thing shook out. It's so outrageous to me. Like
but it worked.
It did so.
They took end racism off of the end off the end zone. That means it's done.
Listen, and like I'm happy to see Usher perform. Like I'm not gonna front like I don't watch. Well, I'm paid to watch those. So like, but I don't know. He's a super fascinating figure to me. Like great rapper, still capable of genius work, hyped beyond even what he's good at. Institution in that way. But like he makes these really specific, annoying moves sometimes.
I just like when he raps about memes. Remember he said he did a Damn Daniel lyric?
Yes.
He raps about planking.
It's fun when Jay-Z adapts. Like what was remember the Daft Punk song?
Oh shit, I forgot about that one. I think on purpose, but like,
he was great on the Jay Electronica record. Like that was a great example.
I feel like it wouldn't have happened without him. Probably.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. Like Jay-Z probably had to like go in the studio with him.
You definitely have to be intimidating as a rapper, like to get that performance out of him.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the first Ghost and Ray albums where they're basically like duo.
But like
records.
the acclaim for like that God did song. It definitely felt like when Denzel got the Oscar for Training Day. Which is to say, like, it was a good enough performance. They could have given it to 5 other ones, better ones, like, kind of thing.
Yeah. Training Day is such a crazy fucking movie.
It really is.
Like, it's a B movie with an A+ performance. Like, it is structured as a B movie. You know what I mean? But yeah, Denzel, great. Great performance. All right, what's the second worst song you've ever heard?
I'm hearing Sia's voice.
Okay.
Wow.
That's all I know.
But that's like so formulaic. It's like hating a Mondrian painting. What's that painting that's just like 4 squares?
There's
You're
a
gonna
lot
have to be more specific than that, man.
Mondrian. Yeah, I'll know what I mean. The squares. I will be elaborating further.
Don't, but okay, that's
Figure it out.
P.A. Mondrian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peter,
I just want to put out there that I knew
Mondrian.
that. I was listening. Like, I wanted to see what happened.
He's a Dutch painter. No, these paintings are fucking sick, dude. I know it's
Yeah.
No, for real.
They're like, but so is Sia's music. A lot of people like Scandinavian pop sensibilities.
But isn't she Australian?
I was thinking about because
so.
she used to do stuff with 07 that like actually.
Yeah, exactly Australian.
Sia's Australian?
Like, yeah, 07. Like, am I? Is
oh my
this,
god!
Like, old people stuff now? Like, is this older millennial talk? 07. Like,
yes.
like, what was that
That's
movie?
Crazy.
The
Garden State.
Oh my, Garden State. Yeah, like that's elder lore, I guess.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that movie the other day. I was like, they should have more movies where someone forcibly puts headphones on someone else.
There should be
and then you hear the song.
Like a guy.
Not to derail this real quick, but are y'all looking at Slava and how upset he is that he just found out Sia's Australian? This is
I was just the other day like thinking about that whole like music movie that she made that is like was a horrific idea, like even on paper. And then she like dropped a new single. She's back now.
She's back?
Fun.
Okay.
Yeah, like,
you seem to know a lot about someone for hating them.
I'm paid to know about musician comings and goings. Also, it'd be in my inbox. Like,
it's just Sia being like, Craig, please respond. I'm sorry.
That never it was cool, like emailing Billy Woods though. That was fun.
Ooh.
Classic person.
He writes some long ass emails.
Good point.
That makes sense. Billy Woods, he's so cool. He's like, I love it when a rapper like is a Marxist and not lame about it.
You know what's weird is like Earl Sweatshirt becoming an A&R, kind of.
You could kind of see that like from deep though. A couple of years ago, I saw him at who can remember what tour it was, but like it was touring behind some rap songs and just like off stage to the side there was like several like younger rappers looking like with stars in their eyes, just like as if a king had walked into their midst. You could tell that like he had that kind of air about him, which is really funny because he's still super young. I think, like compared to who's successful in rap right now, he's like probably 5 years younger than a lot of them.
Yeah,
the big, the people who have like some dirt under their nails in the industry. He's a teen sensation.
Yeah, I mean,
it's so crazy. His head is like on straight. It seems like.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like
that's because of all that boarding school he was made to do.
Yeah, he's almost like 15 years in now.
You remember the whole Finding Sweatshirt saga?
Oh my god!
Nah,
we're coming up on the 10-year anniversary of a lot of
came
stuff.
out. The debut came out what, like 09, 2010?
Yeah,
2010.
Yeah,
I was there.
I mean, Chief Keef was another one.
Like your listener, the rare one.
Dude, I owned a Supreme 6-panel hat because of them. I'm sad to say.
They thought Chief Keef was so evil. I've been looking back at arguments that people had in like 2012. Just this time.
Yeah. And he's still, he's younger than all of us.
I did not remember that finally Rich came out like just after Sandy Hook. That's trippy.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
That's right.
I had forgotten that detail.
Holy shit. Yeah.
That album is like the Get Rich or Die Trying of that generation. Like every song on there, amazing.
I feel like a lot of people would bristle at this, but like we're still talking about it. So
yeah.
Oh yeah, Finally Rich is a classic for sure.
Also, speaking of hating and Chief Keef, are y'all familiar with Willie Staley's Twitter bit about Thoughtbreaker?
No.
Okay, so whenever
I've seen it. Actually, yes.
Yeah. Whenever Pitchfork gives an album he does like less than an 8.0, he will tweet a screenshot of the score the album he likes got alongside a screenshot of Thoughtbreaker getting an 8.0.
Listen, I used to be on the receiving end of a lot of this humor, and I appreciate that bit. People used to like show the Migos score, the Migos YRN score. It was like the bar for a lot of rap records for a while, in like a Pitchfork is out of it kind of way. It was
I remember
Migos at one point. It's really crazy. Like,
what did you give it?
Like a 7.4 or something, and people like tripped out because, like, you know, more serious records would get worse scores, deservedly. It would be like a thing for certain guys that, like, you know, like Hannah Montana did better on site. When, like, I mean, I don't have to, you know, we all know the cultural impact. Like, everybody rapped like them for like 3 years. It was weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, people still rap like that.
It's really crazy. Like, I still, like, it don't sit with me that they killed Takeoff. Like, that's so, like, but I mean, many such cases, you know, quite a time.
Yeah, man.
How often?
I said those are people I hate, the people who killed Takeoff.
Yes.
Yeah, like, but, you know, I've been thinking a lot about like long tail stuff, like death and violence, and, you know, the connections, or what's said to be the connections between all that stuff. And like, it's just spooky. Like, every generation comes up with the same, like, you know, story that, you know, their favorites died and like nobody does anything about it. It's trippy. It keeps happening.
And
then the music gets blamed, and it's like,
oh yeah. I mean, in Philly right now, or I guess it's kind of quieted down a bit, but there was like for a while like a lot of violence because like every sort of like 2 square block area was beefing with every other 2 square block area, and like the majority of the violence, it seemed, was being blamed on this one rapper named Lil Bucks with 3 S's. He's actually very good. He's signed to a major now. But like, yeah, it was just weird watching, like, living in a city where that was actively happening, like the moral panic over rap music.
That's New York City, though. We have a mayor who like is prodigious with photo taker with rappers, and who like is denouncing drill, and like who will
the drill discourse,
motorbike steamroll. I'm still upset about him taking a photo, like a video of steam rolling motorbikes. Like, that's New York City culture. Like, how you in rap, how you like shaking Wu-Tang members' hands and like doing that on the side. Like, there should be, you shouldn't be able to like walk in those rooms with those people if you're that guy, but he does.
Mean, steamrolling motorbikes is.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
I'm listening.
Oh, steamrolling motorbikes is like a rite of passage for the New York City mayor.
But like if you're like the hip hop mayor, like, wouldn't you like not want to be in that room, you know, on site while that was happening if you were doing it? It's
like, I love rappers, but I hate rap is kind of a weird stance to have.
Oh yeah, you know, like, what is this guy doing to improve the arts, the state of arts education for youth in the city, like absolutely nothing. But French
what do you mean?
Montana
He's
got
making
him on
sure
speed
that
dial, so
he's making sure that the kids aren't distracted by loud like dirt bikes going past their classrums.
he's anti-drill, and it's just like crazy because his son raps. Like there's so much. Everything is a contradiction. He's like very of the times. Like in the
don't even live here.
What he's gonna say next.
See, also, like if Noisy still existed, we would just obsessively cover Eric Adams' son. We would
tried to make the heart
song
hands with like a bot that didn't have arms. Like what is
that? Was so good.
I hate it, but it's funny also.
I mean, as someone who would you have taken Curtis Sliwa over Eric Adams?
No, unfortunately, this is the better scenario. And I literally did used to like. I was so into the political like circuit as a teenager that I was familiar with Curtis Sliwa's podcast. He used to like argue with this guy Ron Kuby, and they had this like crossfire kind of show. Absolutely not for the mayor. No, he's a scary demon cat dad who like a literal like personal like what's the word? I've forgotten the word. Vigilante. Okay.
Yes.
just like a straight up like in a sense like kind of a street vigilante, and you could just do that in the 80s. Like you could like take to the streets and like take the streets back and like get on the news and stuff. But like, come on, like he couldn't do it. Like I don't feel he's fit to hold office, but he can box people on the block sometimes. If like that. Everyone should have their place in the ecology. Like,
and everybody needs a cool hat.
Okay.
I'm sorry that I had like 5 minutes worth of Curtis Sliwa opinion, but I'm like that.
Have you ever, or like, which artist were you most surprised by that they like took issue with something you wrote?
I'm gonna go with the Killer Mike interview because I had a different trap set for him. I wanted to talk to him about something he said about free speech, because he like did this TED talk and he was like conflating rappers getting pinched for lyrics with right-wing propaganda, getting called out in the news, and I was gonna drag for that, but something else came up.
I mean, how did you sort of navigate that moment as you're like, or can you kind of lay it out for people who haven't read the interview and then talk about
I talked to Killer Mike about his new album, Michael, and I brought up this lyric in his song where he said something about broke back, and I'm like, this song is about, how people who are all in your business are like kind of silly for that, but you're like gift wrapping like a new scandal for yourself right in the middle of it. It's like, isn't that silly? And then he like played like he didn't remember what he said in the lyric. Oh, and also like never even acknowledged the piece when it came out, which is crazy because he boosted even Hip Hop DX. But like, somebody who like really respectfully, like, no, because hip hop, like I said, everyone has their place in the economy, like the ecology. Like if I need reporting on a ridiculous thing, the most random rapper said, like, I know that I could count on DX having an article up for it. And that's like, there's something cool about that. Like, I like that. But yeah, he boosted DX and he didn't acknowledge that I existed. And I was like, okay, that's crazy because like nobody else really challenged you in this rollout. And I thought that was silly. Like that, but that happens a lot.
I feel like in the interview, his response was to just like start telling you that he loved you a lot.
He was being like ingratiating, and it's just like, I'm familiar with a certain type of figure, that like super well informed like person who is just kind of off on like a couple of issues, like, but like has that preacherly like like demeanor. Like I don't know. I got the guy, and I appreciated the conversation until like he played it kind of silly, and then even after that, but like when he just ignored it, I was like, all right, this has been fantastic. Respect. Loved the music for 20 years. That was cool. You don't meet everybody,
Yeah.
But somebody had to have a conversation with that guy about like the several things that he needed to be, goaded into a conversation about. That's the job.
Yeah, I mean, also, is that the interview where he was talking about how he like lives in the woods and like hunts?
Yes, he's like such a fascinating character, like extremely like both sides of Atlanta kind of thing, like hunts, fishes, owns a barbershop, like like
his dad was a cop, I think.
Oh, you can tell. There's just like a long history of like figures like him in the community who are like really have the best interests, but sometimes make weird associations because they feel like they gotta be at every table. Fascinating character,
like Eric Adams.
Yeah, like anybody who is in a picture with that guy, like is trying to wheel and deal towards something. Like he's not that cool. Like
Killer Mike is a rap Eric Adams.
because that's not. It's got to be somebody like whose politics are eviler. Like Mike is like wrong-headed about like several things, like pointedly, but like
Joe Budden.
About others, like Joe Budden. Okay, like
Joe Budden also has a son who raps. He should make a song with Eric Adams' son.
How come I don't know that?
His name is Trey Budden. He called him Trey because it was his second son.
That's not how. That's a Trey. I can tell you that's exactly not how it works. Like there were so many things wrong with that logic. Like, yeah, I assume Slava's once again lying, but yeah.
No, it's because the first son comes out sloppy, and then the second one comes out clean, like it's on a tray.
All right.
I mean, I could tell it was a bit. It sounds like a bit. Do we don't have an etymologist on site. We can't.
His name is Trey Budden, though. I'm not lying about that.
Shouts.
I know a lot about Joe Budden's family life now, actually.
Yeah, like how do you feel like that's improved your life?
Honestly, it makes me feel a lot better about a lot of things.
Okay.
I used to listen to so much Joe Budden's, like 2000, like we were at parties bumping deep cuts on the album. Like it was
that's
really
crazy.
It was
at a party.
How many?
This was
at a party. You were listening to Joe Budden's.
I've been to a house party, at least one, where Joe Budden album was bumping. Like album,
not even Slaughterhouse.
But this was that year, and it was on the Northeast coast. Like it was the place where it could have happened. It was like Connecticut. It was. And it was the year 2000, and weird singularities happened when hip hop started becoming the most popular music. Like people trying to say "fitty" in a way that nobody in New York says it.
Do you think it's still youth culture, hip hop?
There's enough pockets in it for it to be everything. It's commercial culture, it's indie culture, it's youth culture, it's elder culture, it's in between youth and elder culture. There's contingents and factions in it, yeah.
What about hyperpop? Is hyperpop for old people, or do young people actually?
Everything is for whoever can find something in it if they're willing to, but a lot of people aren't willing to. Hyperpop shouts, like, yeah. Like just on an ideas level, like I respect it. Like, there's an amateurishness to it, but there's also like alongside that there is a like, all right, what if I put this in these two things together that have no business historically being in the same frame together, because nobody who didn't, not having grown up with this stuff, there aren't these reservations about like what to blend. It's cool. Like I respect it. I can't listen to everybody's stuff, but like the idea of it, the highlights, there's something there. I'm sorry, there's a whole fleet of fire engines.
Nah, man, it adds texture to the podcast, man. This is real New York City
Exactly.
living. Yeah.
New York City living.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, since it's audio, they cannot see your Yankee hat. So we have to signify. Did you go to the hip hop 50th anniversary concert?
No, I did
there?
not actually.
Really?
Nah, I can't be in. Can't go to everything.
Fair enough.
I can't remember why I was inside that weekend, but there was probably like a practical reason. I was probably like trying not to work on an essay or something. It's been one of those summers. It was a wild summer. In the same weekend, was it the same weekend? In the same like 4 days, I met Mario Van Peebles, RZA, and Sampha. It was super crazed, all for like different. Yeah, it was trippy. Like I'm still like can't believe that even happened.
Who smelled the best? I'm serious. I want to know. It's probably Sampha.
Probably RZA.
Wow.
Mm.
Well, yeah. I would say that to the extent that I can remember.
Who smelled the worst?
Remarks. But that was, it was really crazy. I got asked to, ask to host the panel after the film for New Jack City at the Tribeca Film Festival for their like 30th anniversary or whatever. And I was like, that's trippy because, growing up, I used to see the Carter Building every week. It was up the block from the church that the family went to. So I feel like history with that movie, and just getting to talk to the guy who made it was freaky. They didn't know that was my first such event, and I had never done it before. But when you get a wild call, you simply have to, take the job and do it, learn how to do it and get it done. And so my life has been a lot of that, like figure it out kind of situations.
How are the kids fucking up? Let's hate on the next generation of music writers.
They are picking the wrong songs to flip and the wrong parts of them to flip. They are not flipping things effectively enough all the time. I have no problem with old stuff coming back around anymore. Actually, I was really annoying about this in the 90s. I was like, they're just taking the hits and rapping over them again. Do it cool, and make it work. But don't don't pick a trash joint and then run it back into the ground again. That's
I mean, the
conversation about sampling is silly because there are all these head conventions where you're supposed to you're not supposed to sample snitch, which I respect that to a great extent, except my job is my job and I like that shit.
Can I make a case?
But I'm sorry?
Can I make a case real quick about Murder Beats ruining music?
Oh, okay. I have no problems with
check this out. Okay. So Murder Beats is producing for, QC the Label and Migos and all this other stuff.
Okay.
We find out about him and we write about him and we call him the Canadian King of Trap Music under Nersey. There's a party promoter in Toronto who takes him under his wing and kind of spends all of his social capital to boost this guy up and get him into events. Eventually, he gets Murder Beats in front of Baca, which gets Murder Beats in front of Drake. Now, Murder Beats has the ability to produce for Drake, and the song he puts out is the song that sounds the least like Murder Beats, and that's that song, Nice for What? Nice for What is a sped up Lauryn Hill sample, right?
Okay.
And the reason it doesn't sound like a Murder Beats song is because it was actually this party promoter turned agent's idea. His name is Corey Litwin. So Corey Litwin and Murder Beats have had more negative impact on music because they started this sped up sampling craze with Nice for What. And Nice for What is a perfect example because that's a song that samples a song that samples a song that samples a song.
I'm trying to think of people who were doing this before that song came out because I don't know if I want to pin it on that one. I feel like anything Drake does to a certain extent, pops, someone's going to try it. I don't know if I'm silently asking So if
Is
I
that just kind of like a Kanye thing though, like the sped up Chipmunk Soul sample thing?
Well, it was.
But that's small of a window.
Sure. But from 2003 to like 2007, yeah, he stopped doing that after a while. He changed up the drums. He was running them explosive into the ground. The Dr. Dre drums. You remember early Ye Mach 1 when he was like using the same drums on every song and it kind of like still hit like everywhere. Like,
I mean,
5 beats a day for 3 summers. Some of them are going to sound the same.
I mean, that was also cool then. Like, Ninth Wonder had like one fucking drum sound or one drum pack.
I respect it.
And also,
a machine has character. Like, they have a sound, and not everybody's gonna have 10 drum machines. If you could, you should, though, right? Like,
now you can with plugins.
Oh, I mean, they're not that expensive on the used market. Like, you can get something that was used to make like Memphis rap music for like $150 right now. I'm saying that because it's across the room.
I was gonna ask, like, so how long have you been into synths? How many do you have? What do you do with them? Will you make us a theme song?
I haven't. How to put it? So when I was in college, I made an entire scrapbook, flipbook project about the history of synthesizers to prove to a music professor that stuff was actually musical, with the end purpose of just playing Aphex Twin in her classroom because I knew she would hate it. So like I've been interested in that stuff like all my life, and I had a red Yamaha when I was a kid. PT-84, I think. They were to teach you how to play synthesizers. But I've been getting back into it over the last year, just like kind of quietly learning stuff. How many? I don't know. Not like a lot, but not a little. This is a recent.
I mean,
This is an abrupt and recent thing. This is just where my brain went at the end of December after a wild several month period of grief and death. I was like, all right, what am I not doing? And it was music. And so like I've been messing around with stuff a lot and learning, a great deal about sound synthesis, to the extent that like I read something I wrote last year and I'm like, that's not how distortion works, kid. Like, the sentence is inaccurate. But the trick is not to get so deep into gear that you could like lose the person who is reading the thing. But it's cool because I can be like, yo, Mike Shinoda, like, what's your setup? Hey, Sampha, here's this cool pedal you should check out. Like, it's outrageous to get to be able to do that stuff. And I try to as often as I can.
Are you a modular guy?
No,
or
it's
do you
too
like
complicated.
the keys?
The racks, come on, like, that's too many wires, first of all.
Yes. I once saw Suzanne Shiani play live, and like watching someone who's like a master of that shit is like incredible. Also, Suzanne Shiani invented the potato chip sound in commercials. That's
my listening habits this year, like whoever the pop girlie is that I have to write about, and whatever other experimental music I can, and then just like that kind of thing, like Steve Roach kind of music, like Tangerine Dream, year kind of thing.
Who's the pop girlie of the year?
Was that?
Who's the pop girlie of the year?
That's a good question.
Is it O-Rod or is it Miss Spice?
I mean, what about Sexy Red?
It's probably gonna shake out for Olivia Rodrigo. She's bringing the Breeders to New York City. That's crazy. As an opener.
Like they're opening for her?
Yeah, like what? In New York and California, the Breeders are playing the Olivia Rodrigo Stadium show. That's whoever like.
Whoa!
See, that's cool. Like, who's doing that? Like, I like when pop stars do cool stuff that nobody else thought to.
That's like their version of sampling a song from 5 years ago
on like 98 rap beats type thing. Like,
as someone who no longer is professionally obligated to listen to pop music, is Olivia Rodrigo worth checking out? Like, I, as a 34-year-old, like washed individual.
I mean, Slava is saying no, but there's joints on there. Yeah, there's joints on there. They're
Okay.
okay. So here's the thing. Some of it is like really fun, actual alternative rock music that doesn't sound too cheesy. That like, has cute little like, crescendos and stuff in it, and like the riff is nice. Like it's fun.
Mm-hmm. Is it better than Machine Gun Kelly?
Yeah, like it feels less inauthentic than that. Yeah, like Machine Gun Kelly, it seemed like smelled some money. You listen to the MGK stuff, but you don't listen to Olivia Rodrigo. Like, what is the argument?
Bro, that's the funniest thing is like I listen to MGK because I'm a huge fan of Diddy, and I will do whatever Diddy tells me to do. Just like MGK, I will do whatever Diddy tells me.
I was on that train for like 15 minutes in like 2013 when he was like doing that, like, oh man, like I'm from Cleveland and everything is sad. Like I was under that spell for
lace up, baby, lace up.
Yes, I feel like I reviewed that somewhere.
Yeah, that was tight.
But like, no, this rock thing is disingenuous, and it's no wonder that he ran into all the smoke that he did on tour trying to play like metal festivals. It doesn't smell authentic to anybody, and that's why, but people enjoy it and good for them. I'm happy to have.
Man,
I'm happy everyone is happy this year.
How often do you think an album should be revisited? Because that Lace Up album, for example,
I'm never going back.
Sounds much different now than it does back then, knowing what happens to him.
Are you saying you still bump like the?
Yeah, bro. Okay. I'm from Cleveland, bro. I love that song.
I can't remember like song titles.
It goes, "Bitch, I'm from Cleveland. Bitch, I'm from Cleveland.
Thrilling.
Bitch, I'm from Cleveland."
Slava, is this one of those albums that was in like the jail library and you just like had to listen to it?
No,
I was trying to get making this up if I didn't corroborate that it existed.
No, I remember the extremely mid-tempo Lace Up album.
Oh, you were on the circuit. All right. I forget. Everyone in here has written about rap music in some capacity.
Wait, say that again?
Partial noisy reunion here.
Yeah. What were you
things
say,
I miss
Trey?
about Noisy? Dan Ozzy always having snacks. Dan Ozzy always having pizza bites in some capacity.
Oh man, there was like once
Kyle
or twice
being right there.
There was once or twice Dan and I just went to that grocery store that was over on like Kent and Broadway, and would just like split a rotisserie chicken for lunch.
No, because like the grocery store behind the table, like the food counter, they actually had bangers back there, which is like trippy. I used to work on the side, the back of those counters. I definitely used to serve rotisserie chickens at one point in my life.
Go get like a pound of tuna salad for like fucking $7 and just
there was a lot of good lunch options. The hot lunch back there, like I liked it. I'm not gonna lie. Although like I really tried to be out of Williamsburg within 2 hours of any shift. Like I hung around sometimes, but like it was just too far away. Like I live in Harlem. It's like an hour trip.
You didn't want to go to Brooklyn Bowl after you got off work?
You didn't want to go to what was it, Crown Royal across the street, or?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, what was the joint that was across the street? I had some fun in there, I guess.
Crown Vic or something like that.
No, but yeah, no, I needed to. Yeah. I just was always back in the neighborhood by like 10 o'clock. Like I was not trying to see that night through out there. Respectfully,
you weren't trying to go to the Music Hall of Williamsburg?
I've been. The right-wing money is loud and it's money, and a lot of people are trying to work that into the palette, like particularly in hip-hop media, which is like I thought would be the most outrageous place for like that kind of rhetoric to proliferate, but here we are.
We tried. We're an alpha male podcast, bro. Get your T levels up with us.
Yeah, we're on Rumble.
We should get on Rumble, bro. Craig, what's your favorite piece you've ever written for Noisy? Like the most noisy piece that you wrote?
I think it's still the 311 Day article.
What's that?
It's just like, whoa, it's 311 Day, and it's just like write very goofily about how I like 311. Which so like my next place of employment, like one of my higher ups there, that was the first thing that he ever saw that I wrote.
Really?
It was the 1/3/11 day, and it was just like really fun in the office. And I was like, what if I just wrote a whole article about how I observed?
So there are several 3/11 articles
by Craig.
No, I mean just.
I feel like I only did the one.
General.
I would not put it past myself.
I mean, have you read the 3/11 Commission report?
3/11 was an inside. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yes. No. When I worked at Noisy, my old boss Ben Shapiro, not Ben Shapiro, wrote a piece called 3/11 was an inside job, and it was like an InfoWars style thing about like missing pages from the 3/11 Commission report and shit like that. So you actually like 3/11? This is what you're saying, or were you just doing this as a lark?
No, like there's a couple of albums that are integral to a certain awareness of certain genres in music. It was a weird time where like you could listen to a Sublime album and learn about like 10 different, classic records that you never heard of before. It was... Oh, no.
So here's my thing. I think that Sublime is like a genuinely good canonical band.
I was going to write for a long time this article about how Sublime it was ethical cultural appropriation, but it was like too crazy of a take to like... I never like got around to writing it, but I like, they shouted out the elders. They put people in on the track and sampled stuff and, the covers, and you learned a lot about music that way. Once when I got to meet two out of, the Sublime with Rome guys, I was like, thank you for introducing me to both the Grateful Dead and Bad Religion, the band, which is like unusual to get to say to a person. Like,
yeah,
those are very different circuits usually.
I do like that that entire sphere of post Sublime music exists, because it's all of their influences are just Sublime and 3/11, and then like the filthiest fucking dubstep you can imagine.
I'm no longer on that circuit, but I really was in like the year 2000, listening to like many related bands.
I mean, listen, man, I went to Bonnaroo twice. I get it.
Do you fuck with AI music?
Was that?
You fuck with AI music?
There is some stuff, generatively speaking, that is interesting, but like it's no. Like generative music techniques yield interesting results. However, like what's being done with people's voices is spooky and perhaps diabolical, like bodes horrible, for the future, just in terms of the ethics of it.
You're becoming like a gear and a synth guy, right? Would you ever consider playing with any of those instruments to just like maybe even make a song just for yourself that you have always imagined would be perfect?
No, like I don't want like a bespoke Drake song, I want the
maybe
real,
not Drake,
guy.
Yeah.
But I that doesn't interest me though.
I mean, I would be interested in telling an AI to have George Michael cover Derek and the Dominoes' Layla on
Demonic.
Like a Spanish guitar, like flamenco style.
But you could just do something that sounded that way to you, though. Like like you have
That's
the tools.
True.
Sound design is a world you can world build. So like I feel the way I do as a writer about it, which is God forbid when I need prompts, then I'll use them. But as long as I can stretch my mind to like make the thing that I want, that I see in it, that I should be doing it that way. But that there are tools that you can use, and I'm talking about I'm specifically thinking about this really cool arpeggiator, app that you can like that has a latch on it, so you can hold down keys and it'll throw something out there in different octaves. And it sounds beautiful if you put the right things into it. But you're not necessarily choosing the melody, but you are setting specific parameters for it. And so that kind of thing is cool. But like further than that gets fishy to me. I worry about the future of, creative license, the money in it, obviously for somebody who is trying to work as a writer. I'm freaked out about that. Well, any corner that can be cut will be cut in this current, planet. The phase of humanity that we're in where cheap labor is, we're trying to find even cheaper labor than cheap labor.
Yeah, no.
Do you think they'll always make albums though?
I think that there will always be a desire for a module of songs in some capacity. What shape that is up to general tastes. In the 50s and 60s and the 70s, people loved really short records. And now we like to listen to things that are an hour and a half long sometimes. So I think that trend is going to stay alive. we're deeper into the album theory concept than perhaps the originators of the form are. We're making longer joints than they were. We're probably listening to longer mainstream albums than they did. So I think there's still a lot of life in the form, and there's definitely always a desire to shovel as much stuff into consumers' mouths as possible, and the album is a useful format for that also.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know, you look at a No Limit album from the late 90s, early 2000s, and they were just all right, let's stuff this fucking album full of every kind of song. Exactly. Yeah.
And then put 3 tracks on another joint.
Yeah, remember when I literally put out a half-hour long song?
I was just thinking about the second Goldie album. Track 1 is an hour-long song about trying to find his birth mother.
Oh my god,
not vibing with that. You put out a double album, and just the first one is Pink Floyd, more Pink Floyd's.
Jethro Tull ass shit.
I respect it.
I mean, and I think the reason they did that, the No Limit people did that, is oh well, they're buying. Someone is the consumer. The person buying this is a customer, so we want to give them the best chance of finding multiple songs they'll vibe with, and the skip button exists for a reason. And I feel you look at the Carter 3, that is that principle taken to its logical extreme. And then now with streamers, I feel they do that again, but it's we need to have as many chances to get on as many playlists as possible.
Yeah,
I don't know. I always thought it was look, we're paying for the CD. It's part of being the clean plate club when you were little. It's look, man. Space is a precious thing. Let's just stuff this shit up. I bring 2 suitcases on vacation when you can stuff it all in one. And that's why 27 song fucking Master P albums and shit, just because I could fit 27 songs on this shit.
Yeah, and if you got a minute left, do another skit.
Somewhere.
That's true, because if you look at it around the lace-up era of music.
What'd you say, Craig?
Monetizing the vaults in real time, essentially. It's not that bad of an idea, I guess.
Yeah. What were you saying, Slava? I'm the traffic cop now.
No, I was just talking about how it makes sense because this albums got a little bit smaller in the lace-up era, where they had to be consumed as zip files
for the first time.
Yeah, because they had to be consumed as zip files, and every megabyte counted on Mega Upload. But now we're on streaming, and they're back to just expanding them. And I think Migos were one of the first ones to just here's 40 songs on our album.
Too. How many songs were on there? That was
oh my god, bro, so many, way more than Lace Up, that's for sure.
I'm gonna need you to like put on the 4/5 Slava and write like a lace up 15th or whatever the fuck anniversary piece.
No, I can't.
For
that's got to be coming
Passion
out.
Voice.
Yeah, it's got to be coming up.
There's a lot of 10-year anniversaries that are about to make us feel real old coming up this year.
Such as?
Man, like Donald Glover Camp. Donald Glover Because the Internet.
Oh,
okay.
That's about to turn 10 years old. Like Drake's little "We'll See Who's Around a Decade from Now" just turned 10. That song.
Whoa.
I don't know. Like,
yeah.
It doesn't. The anniversaries that make me feel spooky are the 25-year anniversaries. The things that are turning 30, like In Utero is turning 30. That's crazy. Like, that's. Do you know how long I've been alive? It's
I mean, like. Thinking about like the Blink-182 guys like reuniting
for easy listening purposes, like what was that single?
Yeah,
they were not my ones though. I was a Green Day truther in 2001.
I was a different kind of truther in 2001 myself.
Well played.
Thank you.
By the way,
I don't know what
25 songs.
I was
No Label 2, 25 songs.
That seemed like a whole lot back then. Like
135 minutes. Oh, sorry, an hour 35 minutes.
That's Toy Story is only 82 minutes.
I'm saying, if your movie is longer than a Pixar, I mean, if your album is longer than a Pixar joint, like sometimes I'll write it in the piece in the review, like this is longer than a children's movie. Like you should really breach like 77, 78 minutes carefully. Like I think.
Would you ever? I mean, what happens when an album gets as long as a Martin Scorsese movie?
Wait, hold on. How long was No Label 2?
Hour 35.
Men in Black, the first one is an hour 38.
Damn. And if you take the credits off of that, that's a whole movie.
You should not have more lines than Will Smith in Men in Black.
No Label is too impressive. The shortest song is 2 minutes 45 seconds.
Okay.
How long's the longest?
The longest song. This is becoming like that hip hop by the numbers Twitter account now, so I'm gonna stop.
They cut tracks off to put it on streaming. What's missing? Why don't I know?
1,800 ad libs spoken over the course.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like with the Migos again, it's like I'm glad that stuff exists as like archival material. Like, did they need to put it all out on that album? Probably not. Yes. But
well, how long is the Quality Control album? I feel like that was like a year long.
yeah. That's like at least as long as those like Best of Bad Boy Records volumes 1 and 2 and 3 collections.
The frustrating thing now is when you go on streaming and you look at an album by someman new. There's 3 songs, but it's just the same song.
Control the Streets Volume 1 is 102 minutes.
30 tracks. 30 tracks. Holy shit.
I mean, they just reissued The Replacements. Tim, Jeremy Larson, friend of the pod, wrote a really good review of it. Oh, it's incredible. It's got, it also has like, it's 60 songs long. It's like a new mix of the album, a different new mix of the album, a live set, and then like a shitload of demos and B-sides. And they got like 3 or 4 versions of Can't Hardly Wait on the record. And that wasn't even on the album.
I'm a big fan of that. Like, I will go listen to like the extra like single version of a Bird song, like from 1967. Like, I do that.
Oh yeah, no, I was like fascinated.
Which version is the best?
Oh, they got a fucking Arthur Russell style version of Can't Hardly Wait. That's just Paul with the acoustic guitar and then a cellist.
Dude, Songs in the Key of Life is 104 minutes and a half.
Control the Street said, shoot for the stars, shoot for the moon, and you'll land among the stars.
I mean, okay, so I think we can say the benchmark for good to earn the century of minutes, it has to at least be as good as Songs in the Key of Life. And so Control the Streets passes.
Okay.
What's like a slightly sloppy double album?
You think Stevie could have
not perfect album?
Yeah.
Like could lose 2 joints possibly. Type.
Yeah, I think what we've actually figured out.
That could be the bar.
Okay.
49 minutes and 41 seconds is the perfect amount of time for an album.
Like,
which album are you talking about, Slava?
The album that had Cassie, Tech Nine, and DMX on it.
Is this Ryan Leslie? I'm trying to.
MGK, baby, lace up.
Who are the? See, the guest list don't make sense. Like,
those are people who owe Diddy money.
Wait, did he have a joint deal? Wasn't he like? Did he have 2 label situations, or am I getting somebody mixed up? Who was the rapper?
MGK was lucky to have the one, man.
Who's the rapper that was signed to Bad Boy and also to French?
Oh,
French is on
like
Bad Boy.
That was
MMG
French
situation.
MMG. That's right. That's
okay,
right.
I'm not sure.
French.
I thought I forgot my basics.
Travis Scott was on Grand Hustle and Good Music.
He was signed to T.I. and Ye. That was. Well, was he signed to Good Music, or was he like stirring the pot, like sprinkling?
I think he might have been like Grand Hustle as a rapper and then Good Music as a producer.
That makes sense.
Or he just signed 2 deals and he was like, no. The Grand Hustle one, LaFlame signed that, not me.
I went to the Travis Scott movie this year. Shout out!
Is that any good?
Shout out to the white teenagers who were, predictably in the building. Nobody was dressing. I was
Wait, the Harmony Korine movie, right?
No, the Circus Maximus, the live one. There's Travis Scott movies, apparently multiple. Like, I didn't see the
Harmony Korine.
I'm unfortunately interested in that
Travis Scott documentary with a bunch of like 14-year-old white kids just like crying. Travis Scott saved my life, man.
Like, you won't even be saying nothing for like them to put that on. Like, it was like, what was the lyric that did it?
Straight up.
When he said straight up, I was like, yeah, you know what? Straight up, man. And and then I told my shitty stepdad about himself. Yeah.
He's like, he has such a wild career. Like, I admire anybody who like is both a rapper and maintains like a sought after like Fortnite skin. Like, that's name the number of people who like both rap and you would buy their skin. We need to bring back rappers as bonus characters and stuff, just like gratuitous.
We need to bring back.
What would like that Def Jam fighting game look like nowadays?
Joe Budden
the roster would be kind of like.
I'm trying to think.
Who would be in it? Like, that was under 35. Like,
I
mean, Drew just went golfing with Kevin Lyles, and that game was entirely Kevin Lyles' idea.
Okay.
I didn't go golfing with him.
Be in it.
I did have to account for my team winning to Kevin Lyles after we beat his team. He like flagged me down and he was like, "Did you guys cheat?" And I was like, "Well, no, conceptually, that's a separate issue, but like we did not cheat in that every stroke we took was like legitimate and we didn't like not count anything."
The imagery of like someone running up to you and accusing you of cheating and the first word out of your mouth is like, well, conceptually.
Hilarious.
No.
I mean, no, you
start breaking down between theory and practice and like
yeah.
Well, first off, Kevin Lyles flagged me down and like demanded to know the handicaps of everyone on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And
you should have been like, dude, I'm amazing.
I mean, no, I was straight up. I was like, listen, I'm an 11. The other guy who was on the team was an 8. OMBPZ does not have one. And the pro golfer is a +9 handicap. And +9 is like, the lower the handicap goes, the better. But once you hit 0, then it becomes +1, +2, +3, +4. And so if you have a plus in front of your handicap, that means you're like really good at golf.
I tried to get into all those sports like 2 years ago. I bought the ESPN Plus bundle. I was watching live tennis for like a minute.
Great.
There's only so many hours in the day though.
Yeah, golf is a boring fucking sport to watch. I can't watch it.
Definitely watch. Like, I would. I like looking at sunny grass. So like, there's a lot of that there.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm there for the scenery.
The most exciting golf event is the Ryder Cup, which is coming up. I would recommend watching that.
I will investigate.
That's like, it's like America versus the world.
Oh, it's like what kind of writers? Music writers? Culture writers?
The Ryder Cup.
Yeah, it's the Ryder Cup where...
What will we compete in? What could we compete in?
Well, Craig, do you have any advice for writers? Do you have any advice for the next Craig Jenkins?
Do I have any advice for leave him alone. Like whoever it is, he about to cuss out. Like he should just not. You won't have to hear about it for the next hour. No, put it on the page. Don't give out free energy.
Okay.
No, but for seriously, like it's a really spooky time in the field because jobs are disappearing. Job security is not where it was. It feels like we've shown up and it's on the last liquor resupply kind of the party kind of situation. A lot of the time, you don't know what your option is, but do the thing and be really good at it and get into areas that other people won't. Like, find what makes you indispensable to people who don't even like you and work from there. That's my advice.
I think my advice is put no effort into writing. Just network a lot.
There's a lot of pathways through it. Yeah, that can be done. People have done that.
A lot.
Yeah, well, it always sucks to realize you're working with one of those people, like whether they're your editor or they've pitched you or they're your coworker, and you're like, oh fuck.
Was that Andre 3000 verse where he's like, did I mess up by working really hard this whole time? He was the Frank Ocean album. No, he did. There's a couple of verses where 3 Stacks is like, did I do this too much? Yeah, I worry about that. What if I've been taking myself too seriously? What jokes have gone on?
There's nothing worse than realizing you did not need to put that much effort into something.
Had that happen more than I like to talk about. I'm like,
I mean, yeah.
I just like to go the extra mile. I like to do the thing that nobody else has done in the course of the assignment. Read the book nobody else is going to go into, kind of thing. I don't know. I get a tiny thrill out of it being extensive, more so than I think another person will be. I'm competitive very secretly, but against myself. What is
you winning?
How better of a job was that? Am I winning? No, no. I don't think so. I don't know.
What game do you have on?
Season. Was that? Oh, this is an evening with Edgar Allan Poe starring Vincent Price. I decided that it's October in my head now. There's apparently a film where Vincent Price just reads Edgar Allan Poe stories. Vincent Price is great in every horror story, every Victorian kind of story, like Mask of the Red Death. What else do I watch every year? So I found out that he reads all these Poe stories for an hour, and I'm really about to crank that tonight.
Okay.
There's what's up here? The OP1 is up here.
Okay.
PlayStation controller.
Is that a teenage engineering thing?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's just really good.
Slava hates teenage engineering. I introduced him to it.
You know, like, okay, so like it does a lot that most synths don't necessarily do. Like it makes sampling really easy because it displays everything out chromatically over the keyboard for you in a way that like not everybody does. It has a battery that has long life, which like most people don't even bother. There's advantages. Also, you know,
cool.
Good sounds, adaptable stuff. Like it's cute. It's cute.
They make good stuff.
You know, but sometimes it's like, oh, like here's like a $700 mixer, and the shit is like that big, and you're like, I need a mixer to be a murder weapon.
All right, so I need to bounce, go to this festival, get rained on.
What festival?
It's called Making Time. It's like
Pet Patrol.
It's like very tasteful electronic music. Last night, Jamie XX headline.
I was gonna say that really sounds like some keyboard shit. Like
it's some keyboards. Like the Lot Radio is curating a stage. Like that's the vibe.
I was gonna say, like, how many ambient musicians are playing?
Like a lot. I would say it's like half ambient, and then
that
half,
was my
like,
guess. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I want to hear how
like,
it went. Let me know.
Yeah. Gonna see Laraji, DJ Cozy. Then I'll probably leave. But yeah, Craig, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
You want to plug something?
All
right, thank you so much.
You can catch me on. You can catch me on my time.
Catch me
on. No. Like, okay, Craig SJ at on whatever. And
yeah, Craig, what are your
Jenkins? I don't really be anywhere like online. Like, increasingly hard to reach. Like the negotiations to get me even to answer emails, like, So what happened is Twitter is doing weird stuff with messages, and I'll like look at my messages and I won't see him for a day later. So like it took like 4 days to schedule this because I was getting every one message like every day, and it's like I don't know.
Well,
everything it's slowly breaking that app, but I can boost something to a potential 70,000 eyes still, and that's crazy to think about. Like in the course of mankind, like that I can just be a random person who can do that. Like it's kind of cool. So I stick with it.